G as a barcode scanner, and that one you can install as a communications port, and you can select that from the list. In our case though, for the purposes of this tutorial, we've got the STX, so we're just going to leave that. Cash drawer, if you purchased a cash drawer and it came with drivers, then you've installed them. That usually goes in under a communications port or a driver itself. If not, sometimes the cash drawer goes directly through your receipt printer. Actually, most often you can connect it directly through your receipt printer. So if you have some sort of Epson thermal printer or impact printer or something like that, there's usually a little plug on the back of it. It looks like a phone cord, but a little bit bigger, and you'd plug that directly into, you'd plug the cash drawer directly into that, and then every time you print a receipt, the cash drawer is going to pop open, is usually how they're configured. If you purchased our TeraCash Professional RFID package, then you'll have an RFID scanner. After you install the software drivers, you'll see the RFID scanner from the list here. If you've got, again, this is another barcode reader if you've installed the drivers, and then if you have a poll display, something similar to like 7-Eleven or your grocery store or something, they've got that poll display if you're using TeraCash as a point of sale. The point of sale it has a different set of parameters, specifically the barcode reader here and the poll display. You can also install, they again also use communication ports. We're not going to demonstrate any of that for the purpose of this demo though. If you have signed up with CheckGuard, then you would go on here to our online services. You'd put a tick mark in the Use CheckGuard, and you would put your user ID and password. Now you've got to be assigned a user ID and password from somebody at TeraCorp in order for this to work. We don't have one for the sake of this particular demo, so we're not going to use it, but this is how you would set up CheckGuard. If you've already got a username and password, great, you can put it in there. If not, and you ever want to get it later, you can access it from the same place right up here on online services under tools and setup when you do have one. Also, this will show you your balances and your inquiry attempts.
Alright, for those of you
who ever
who
want to just get on there and check it out.
did have their STX in the native USB mode, you can go ahead and switch over to part 2 of the configuration video. That's going to go over the miscellaneous tab, and it's going to go over several of the options you can choose from in there in order to more customize TeraCash to suit your needs. If you don't really care about that, then of course you can skip it. However, at this point now we're going to go ahead and show our users who have the STX in Rendis mode how to configure that, take those couple extra steps. So at this point, for those of you who have the STX already set up, configured, and TeraCash is ready to go, congratulations. Have a great time using TeraCash. Hope it works out great for you. If you've got any questions, comments, feedback, suggestions, anything like that regarding this video tutorial, or if you've got some suggestions on some other video tutorials you'd like to see, feel free to give us an email at support@teracash.com. That's SUPPORT at TERACASH.com. Again, any questions, comments, feedbacks, suggestions, we're always willing to help out and look for any different ways to improve our tutorials. So please feel free to email us there. Again, that's support@teracash.com. Okay, now, if you've installed the STX, as we showed you in the beginning of this tutorial, and you did not have the option for the STX 001, again from this screen in the MagTech demo program, if you drop down this list and you did not see the STX 001 in here, then that means one of two things. Either the drivers are not installed correctly, there's a problem reading from the device, meaning it's unplugged or not, the USB or the power is unplugged, but
assuming all that is correct and we just need to configure the correct driver, this is the last steps that we have to do for the Magtech STX. First of all, you can test it yourself by clicking on the STX USB, because that's going to be the one you're going to choose. Since you're not in RNDI, or since you're not in native mode, you're in RenDiz mode, the one you always want to choose is the STX USB. Now I know the device is called an Excella STX, but Magtech does have a difference between the Excella brand scanner and the STX brand scanner. So you're never going to use the Excella Ether or Excella USB unless you have that particular scanner, which is a batch scanner, and it's like an $1,800 scanner or something. So we don't even really offer anything for that. It's designed for doing mass multiple checks at a time, 40, 50, 60 checks you want to scan. So we don't ever use that one. The STX is the one that does the single feed dual-sided scanner with the ID card reader and the MSR reader. So we're going to pick the STX USB if it's plugged in directly to the computer through the USB port, which is, unless you're using it in network mode, which is not covered in this tutorial, it's always going to be plugged in via USB. So you're going to click on the STX USB, and then you're going to click connect. And if that turns green, then you're okay. You don't have to do any further configuration. However, if you click it and you get an error, then you'll want to complete the following steps. You'll click on your Start menu, Windows Start menu, All Programs, go to the Magtech, and then you're going to want to find in the Utilities the one called Ethernet USB Configuration Utility. Now again, that's under the Magtech. Depending on if you installed the drivers from us or somewhere else, the hierarchy may be a little bit different, but you should find Ethernet USB Configuration Utility. If you don't find that anywhere, then you may have to reinstall your software, your Magtech software, and make sure those options are selected so that they get installed. So we're going to run this USB configuration utility. It's going to bring up just a little window, and it's going to show us what our IP addresses are. Now see, we've got all zeros here, so we don't want that. So what we want to do is click on search, and we're going to see it automatically fills in our IP addresses now. If yours does not, then there's a different problem with your STX. It's not going to be covered in this tutorial. That there's a connectivity problem somewhere between your STX and the computer. Either the STX isn't plugged into the power, make sure the light is solid green on the device itself, not flashing yellow or red or anything. Make sure the light is solid green, and make sure you have a secure connection between the Excella STX and your computer via the USB cable. You may also try just rebooting your computer if these don't come up and you've already checked the other stuff. If you still have a problem and this still isn't working, then you'll want to contact Magtech. And at the end of this, I'll go ahead and splash that Magtech phone number on your on the screen if you bought it from Magtech. If you bought it from a third party, or if you bought it from us and you have this problem, then you'd still want to probably contact Magtech. If you bought it from somebody else or you bought it off of eBay, then you may want to also just go ahead and contact Magtech, because they're probably not going to be able to help you either. And then finally, if you bought it from another company, then you can try calling that other company, but more often than not they're going to refer you to Magtech in a case like that, because Magtech has the diagnostic tools required to actually figure out what may or may not be wrong with the scanner. So that being said, after you click on search, and if it does populate these as it's supposed to, then you'll click on apply. It'll give you this little window showing you what you're applying. You click on OK to that. What that's going to do is it's going to upload the new configuration to the STX. So now we can close this, and again, now we're going to just want to test it in the demo program. Same demo program that we were just on. We're going to drop this down, select our STX USB, click on connect, and our button turns green. That means we've got a proper connection. Now in TeraCash, we're going to configure it similarly. We're going to run as administrator if you're in UAC or not. If you're in Windows Vista, Windows 7, and UAC is enabled. So let's start TeraCash here. And then we go up here again, Tools and Setup. But this time, instead of picking the STX001, we want to choose the same one we chose in the demo, which is the STX USB. Again, don't choose the Excella, don't choose the Excella Ether, don't choose the STX Ether unless there's a reason why you're choosing the STX Ether. Again, if you're configuring it in network mode, which is not covered in this tutorial. So you'll choose STX USB, then you can test your scanner. Test scanner succeeded. We want to use this now. Okay, now we're configured. Then we OK here to save our changes. And that's going to make you all set. Now you're configured to use the STX USB in RenDis mode. And now it works just like the previous examples worked with using the STX in native mode. So this is going to conclude part 1 of this tutorial. Again, you're probably only watching this if your situation required it. But again, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, suggestions, please feel free to send us an email at support@teracash.com. Again, support@teracash.com. Well, that's it for this tutorial. If you want to continue watching part 2, which will go over the miscellaneous tab and setup, then feel free to. But otherwise, enjoy using TeraCash. Have a great day.